Are we? We are starting.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Random Championship Series Open Division ARAM tournament for today, Friday, April 17th. And you didn't hear that wrong. It is an Open Division ARAM tournament, although it was scheduled to be an ARAM Mini, our gold and under. Unfortunately, we don't have teams to run the tournament, and rather than cancel one of our tournaments, we'd rather just open it up and make sure people can get these games in and get to play. So it is going to be an Open Division ARAM tournament for today, and we're going to be changing things up next week and things like that. But just to make sure everything's on the same page, everybody knows what's going on, it is Open Division, so any ELO can join this. It is our ARAM tournament. My name is Streetball, casting alongside Slightly. How are you doing tonight, Slightly?
I am just lovely. How are you?
I'm doing great. Very excited for this game so far. On the left-hand side, the blue side, we have Ziani Ditched Us, JK. And on the purple side, we have Brick Sacks. So we'll see how Ziani Ditched Us, JK, who has several members of teams that have different names and things like that. We've seen in the tournaments before. Ziani, kind of a known name around here. Icy Fire, as well as Juke God. Those people have been played in our tournaments before as well. And it looks like some new faces for the purple side here for Brick Sacks.
I'm liking how tanky the Brick Sack side is, actually. Nar, Mundo, Udyr. It really is pretty tanky, too. I mean...
Yeah, you're
I'm
absolutely
thinking-
right. They have a huge front line right there, even with the Aurelia as well. She'll be kind of half and half with the Bruiser right there. And even Gnar, if you can actually build him more as an AD carry, to be honest, and he'll get the tanky stats from transforming into Mega Gnar as well. I really would like to see that Gnar build a bit of damage, because they already have the tank in the Mundo, they got the tank in the Udyr. And they have a bit of a Bruiser in Aurelia as well. So you have the Gnar almost work as an AD carry backline with that Vel'Koz. And if he wants to, if he gets the opportunity, transition to Mega Gnar with that Rage passive and jump into fights there. But like you said, very tanky team for the purple side of Brick Sacks, and we'll see what they can do to combat it. On the blue side for Ziani Ditched Us, JK, they've got some good poke and sustain coming out from that Sona. Sona, an extremely strong champion on these ARAM maps.
Mm-hmm. All Brick Sacks has for poke is Vel'Koz, really. Or maybe, like, Mundo throws.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to have to make sure he hits those cleavers, because every cleaver you miss, it takes out a very large chunk of your HP. So if you're not hitting those cleavers consistently, you're kind of just slowly killing yourself as Mundo. And on these ARAM maps, on Howling Abyss like this, you don't get to go back to your fountain and heal. So having that sustain, keeping your health high, is going to be really a hard thing to do. And that's why I mentioned the Sona before. Having a heal for everybody on your team right there with Sona just constantly spamming W is really going to help out the side of Ziani Ditched Us, JK. And they've gone for some pretty offensive summoner spells, actually. Everybody going for heal on Brick Sacks, and a bunch of ignites and exhausts for the side of Ziani Ditched Us. So maybe a very offensive, aggressive style coming out for the blue side.
Ziani Ditched Us has a really good AoE comp. The Sona ult, the Gangplank, and the Jarvan, and Annie. Like, the double stun.
That's a great point, and on the small map of Howling Abyss, it's really easy to hit those if you can get an entire team wrapped up with the Crescendo, like you said, the Annie stun, throw those Tibbers down, Cataclysm on top of that. Gangplank's ult pretty much takes up the entire width of the map. I think it does actually take up the entire width of the map, so unless you're dodging it forward or back, unless you've positioned it beforehand, it could really kind of turn team fights and kind of either split the enemy team up, split up Brick Sacks, or keep everybody confined and just rain down those cannonballs on top of them. So, like you said, very good AoE team fighting comp coming up for Ziani Ditched Us. We'll see if the tankiness of Brick Sacks is enough to survive that initial burst.
Oh, here's hoping. They do have the front line.
Yeah, and they've each taken heal, so that will help out a little bit, hopefully, with all. But the thing is of course, Ignite counters that heal reasonably well. So if they time their ignites properly, then it'll actually work out really well. I would have actually liked to see at least one Ignite for the side of Brick Sacks. Hopefully, maybe we'll see Vel'Koz build a Merlinomicon or something like that. But having something to cut the healing of Sona for the side of Ziani Ditched Us, JK on the blue team, it would be really helpful to kind of negate the healing from Sona right there, where I feel like the Ignite's not as necessary for stifling any sort of healing that the purple side of Brick Sacks has, because they don't really have anything, to be honest, to sustain up with. And as we get...
See.
Yeah, we'll see what they can pull off here, as my game is crashing right now, which is always fun to see, but hopefully we'll get back into the game here real quick. I want to remind us all that we are watching the Random Championship Series. Our website is randomcs.com. We host weekly tournaments. We've got tournaments every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, so 3 tournaments a week. Please have it at randomcs.com and click on our upcoming events tab, and you'll see all of our upcoming tournaments. We have a bunch of different ELO tournaments and things like that, so tons of free tournaments to enter, tons of RP prizes, excellent things like that at our website, randomcs.com. You can also visit us on Facebook at re.cs, facebook.com/re.cs. Give us a like over there, and please give us a follow on our Twitch page. You can go to randomcs.com/live, and it'll take you directly to our Twitch page, which is twitch.tv/randomchampionshipseries. So please give us a follow on there, a like on our Facebook, re.cs, and thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be jumping into the game here very quickly as I am loading in for, I think, the third time now. Hopefully I can get into this game right here between the blue side, Ziani Ditched Us JK, and the purple side, Bricksacks.
Ooh, mine finally loaded. I'm in, boys.
Hey, we're on our way there, and actually a DJ Sona skin for Ziani, so you can already tell that he's rolling in the RP, trying to get himself some more there, buy some nice fancy skins for himself. Can't wait to hear those tunes being pumped out by DJ Sona, and she is on her way. Actually being the last to buy in the game so far, kind of confused as to what to pick up so far. I'm going for a triple Doran start, so very aggressive start from Sona. Expect some poke from Ziani. And I like the Guardian's Horn start there for Mundo as well. That's really good for engaging with the team, especially with Mundo at these early levels. He's not exactly the best champion. He's kind of sitting in base right now, so hopefully he's not DC'd. Hopefully he's just waiting around or something like that. Yeah, he's back in action. But I love that Guardian's Horn pickup. It's really going to help his team of very melee kind of bruisery champions, because they're going to get poked out pretty hard by this Sona like we're seeing right now, as well as you were saying before. And he's got some long-ranged auto attacks as well, so they should have a decent advantage here in the early game.
Going Crypt Plank. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Stocking those three Brawlers gloves. A very interesting start here. They've gone for a little bit more of a balanced start for J4 and Lee Sin with the double Dorans into Longsword 3-pot. And Annie has gone for just pure AP, stacking the Blasting Wand and the Amp Tomb. So like I said before, judging by their summoner spells, they're going for some early aggression here. It looks like it's going to be a little bit more of a half item build for Bricksacks. They've opted to go for the half items there in the Brutalizer, the Sheen, the Chalice of Harmony, as well as that Warden's Mail. So trying to get those mid-item spikes as soon as possible. But to be honest, I feel like it's a better early buy for the side of Ziani Ditched Us JK. Those early Dorans are probably going to pay off. But of course, Bricksack's build is a little bit more investment heavy, so the later this game goes, it'll be a little bit better because they can build those items into stronger items. But with all of the Dorans stacked up on Ziani's side right now, they should have the advantage early.
They definitely seem to have the advantage. Bricksack's being pushed under their tower already. 2 minutes in.
Yeah, and Sona is not only poking everybody else, but she's also healing her entire team. And really, with those Doran's rings, she's going to be able to kind of just continue that mana regen the entire game. Now, of course, you can't build those into anything, so everybody on the side of Ziani Ditched Us JK is going to have to kind of start fresh when they do start to build their big items. But to be honest, if they can get an early enough advantage, which they're amassing right now, it's not going to be that big of a deal. They'll have more than enough money to pick up those big items once they do eventually die and back.
They're staying really far away from the tower.
And there's the engage, actually. Gnar jumping in, but he does not have anywhere close to Mega Gnar. Heal being popped right there to keep him alive. Had to burn the flash as well. Midnight Shadow 4 needs to be a little bit more careful with that Gnar and make sure that he has his Rage passive built up so he can transform when he hops in like that. Otherwise, use that hop to escape and just try and see us from a safe range. But Mundo here, walking right on the front, almost going down. There's the flashes, actually, but they miss. Icy Fire caught under the turret right now. There's the exhaust. Gnar jumping in, but he goes down right away. Gnar getting the first blood on him. Vel'Koz picks up a kill onto J4 as well, though. But it looks like a 2-for-1 trade overall for the blue side of Ziani Ditched Us JK. Oh, there's a flash under the turret, and that's going to be Mundo going down for Bisana, as well as Ziana picking up a kill as well. The Spirit OR maybe going to go down. No, he's going to have enough shield. And behind the turret right now, Ziani and Juke God are just kind of behind enemy lines, just waiting to see if they can get their minions to pull themselves out from the turret aggro. Oh, the snipe from Juke God! The Q from Lee Sin hits Spirit OR. That's going to be Udyr going down. That is going to be everybody from the side of Bricksacks having died at least once so far. First tier turret going down.
Dang, I didn't even see that Lee Sin Q go out. It's fast. Deadly.
Yeah, Juke God throwing out those skill shots to great effect, and Ziani really just healing up the entire team right now, and they'll have that great sustain for the team. Vel'Koz getting over aggressive, having to flash out. The Demacian Standard hitting him in the back there, but J4 does not want to Dragon Strike under the turret just yet. Just a tiny bit of poke there with his E.
You can see Vel'Koz poking some more, otherwise they're not going to get anywhere. They don't really have much other poke. You know, they have Gnar, Boomerang, but what else?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and they need to kind of coordinate with the team, get the front line to move up so they can allow Vel'Koz to get in range to land some of that poke. They're kind of doing things on their own right now, where Vel'Koz comes up on his own terms and things like that. But a good little cue coming out there from Gangplank, keeping Aurelia low. It's going to be really difficult on a bruiser champion like Aurelia to actually make something happen when you're so low on HP. And there's no sustain. Juke going underneath the turret right now. He probably will go down, but there's going to be a dive right here. He's tanking the turret. No, he does not go down. Gets out of range. Ziani tanking the turret now. Will she go down? Sona just barely staying alive. Beautifully executed turret dive. It's on 4 Basana right now, but she's going to walk out as well. And that was an excellent turret dive by Ziani Dishless JK. And they're going to grab themselves a second turret of the game here at 4 minutes. And they're going to try and get the executes as well. Very smart.
Oh.
And here's Vel'Koz trying to pick up a kill on a Juke God. There's Gangplank trying to get the execute, but they're going to get auto attacks on him. They must have. I'm sure they got an auto attack, didn't they? They did.
Oh,
He
they
flashes
did.
forward. I'm not too sure about Marld flashing under the turret right there. Might want to have to hold on to that flash for a bit. But I see Fire going in hard as well. It looks like the call for Ziani Dishless JK on voice comms was, hey, everybody die so we can spend our items. And oh my goodness, look what Gangplank has built. He has built 6 Brawler's Gloves. So he was flashing just to go back and pick up those Brawler's Gloves as fast as possible. He is going to have 8 times 6. I don't want to go back to school. What's the math? Just let me cheat here. 48% crit chance for Gangplank right now at 5 minutes into the game. So every second auto attack, he'll be getting a nice crit off there for GP. This is going to be really rough if you're the side of Bricksacks right now.
2 Guardians points on Mundo.
Ooh, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the double Guardian's Horn there, but I think Mundo might be trying to match the troll of Gangplank right here, trying to go blow for blow with him by picking up 2 Guardian's Horns there. As you can see, the passive as well as the active are unique on the Guardian's Horn, so the second one, really not going to be doing that much for them, unfortunately. They will have the 200 health as well as the 125% base health regeneration right there, but to be honest, not the best pickup there, as we see Lee Sin picking up the kill onto Gnar right there, Aurelia getting Cataclysm, getting dunked by J4, and they will be able to grab themselves the inhibitor here. Mundo going to go down as well as Ziani takes a couple turret shots.
Oh, they're trying. They're trying.
Yeah, this is unfortunately a rough start right here, and Spirit Awar is going to be able to get back to Fountain. No, he's going to get ignited. There is no healing because there is no real Fountain, actually. It's just your base. So unfortunately, Udyr dies right there. Ziani getting sniped, though. Udyr Aubrey picks up a kill. They're jumping in the back line. Juke God getting attacked by Midnight Shadow, but he does not have Mega Gnar, unfortunately. And Annie's Tibbers blowing people up right there. She picks up the kill onto Aurelia. GP getting the crit there onto Gnar. And it's 18-6 right now at 7 minutes into the game. An absolute bloodbath so far.
Oh, Vel'Koz is 4-4. That's pretty good.
He's been trying to pick up kills for his team. He is kind of the solo carry, I guess you could say, on the side of Bricksacks, the purple squad here. And Mundo just trading blow for blow with Icy Fire right now. And the Cleaver goes wide and gets blown up. And that is what happens when you have 6 Brawler's Gloves. You auto-attack once, or you get the Q off once, rather, excuse me, and people die. Dear Aubrey getting chunked by Annie right here, who has gone for a pure AP build. As you can see, Nuclear Rod, Blasting Wand, as well as the Amp Tomb. She's got the trifecta of the 20 ability power, 40 ability power, 80 ability power, the exponential ability power items there for Annie. Styling it with the item choices so far, but really, it works quite well when you're a champion that just wants to slap the keyboard and hopefully your spell rotation blows people up. But speaking of blowing people up, Ziani right there, as well as Icy Fire, making things happen under the turret right now. They have no real minion wave besides that one caster, but they're still going crazy right now. The Black Cleaver from Gnar, unfortunately, not providing enough tankiness to keep him alive. And there goes Aurelia trying to pick up the Juke God, but unfortunately, the exhaust is going to be too much, and that is going to be an ace for Ziani Dishless JK. And now they have the minion wave to try and take down these inhibitor turrets.
They put up a good fight.
They tried their best. Unfortunately, this is what happens sometimes on ARAMs. Now, of course, I don't mean to say that there was no skill involved, but there's definitely a little bit of help from the randomness of champ select, a little bit more of a well-rounded comp for the side of Ziani Dishless JK, but definitely, of course, skill playing a major factor as well. But good effort from Bricksacks. They're trying to hold out right now, but Mundo getting chopped up, and I think they're just having some fun right now. Dear Aubrey getting caught out. Juke God picking up that kill right there, still has his flash on him, and the super minions will help close out the game here on this Nexus.
6 Avarice Blades for
Hey,
Gangplank.
yeah, he upgraded all of them. That looks beautiful. Shining gold for Gangplank. Getting those doubloons, or whatever the heck they're called in pirate times or whatever, but he is a very gold-thirsty pirate right there. But hey, he made his build work at 4-2-10. So good job by Ziani Dishless JK, pulling out the first win of our tournament, moving on to the next round.
Good job to both teams. You both did the best you could with what you had. It's the beauty of ARAM, I guess.
You're absolutely right. That's a great way to put it. That's exactly how to succeed at ARAM is do whatever you can with kind of the roll of the dice you get, the kind of cards you have, the hand that you're dealt, is just do whatever you can to make it work. But great game so far. We're moving on to the next round very quickly into our next lobby. My name is Streetball, casting along Slightly. You can find me on Twitter at Streetball, and you can find Slightly on twitch.tv/Slightly. That's SLYTELY. Thank you guys so much for watching us. We'll be right back with the next round.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Random Championship Series Open Division Aram Tournament for today, Friday, April 17th. My name is Streetball, casting alongside Slightly, and we are in, I believe, semifinals right now? No, quarterfinals, excuse me, between our two teams. On the blue side, we have kind of our reigning champs from our last Aram tournament, all mid, all modes, and on the purple side, we have Ziani Ditched Us JK, the team we just saw handily win the last game, so it should be a great matchup so far. But looks like a couple AD carries for the side of all mid, all modes, so that Twitch as well as Ezreal should work out pretty well for them. The Master Yi can clean up pretty well as well on the backside of those team fights. If you can get those resets going, could be pretty strong there. So decent selection so far for all mid, all modes.
Shaco, though. Shaco
Yeah,
isn't really a powerhouse on ARAMs.
Yeah, that's the thing, is Shaco definitely excels more when he can get those early lane ganks off on Summoner's Rift. We can actually use his boxes around the map and things like that, but he does not really excel that much at ARAM. But they do have things like the Janna, which is really strong, and they've kind of got the Katarina to a little bit counteract the Master Yi. They've got their own like reset assassin machine that if they get one kill going, can absolutely clean up team fights. So they do have the same kind of potential on each team to make things happen in these fights. They've also got really good pick potential with the Ari Charm as well as the Cocoon coming out from Elise. So if they do catch somebody, they could jump on them pretty quickly. The only kind of disengage, the only kind of peel they really have on the side of all mid all modes is coming from that Syndra with her pushback E there. So if she doesn't hit that perfectly, they could have good pick potential for the side of Ziani Ditched Us JK and maybe kill somebody before the real team fight even happens.
There's not a lot of ways to stop Katarina from all mid, all modes. They have Syndra. And
Yeah, and the Udyr, I feel like, the Udyr and the exhausts, I feel like, are the main things they're going to focus on that Katarina with. If Katarina comes in, exhaust her right away, or just stick Udyr on her, have Udyr get the stun off in bear form, and hopefully stun her out of her ultimate and things like that. But we'll see how they can pull this off and make it work. 2 clarities coming out for the side of all mid, all modes, which I like to see because they're going to be doing a fair amount of poke there with that Ezreal as well as the Syndra. So having a nice little kind of mana regeneration in that summoner spell right there is very handy. And Udyr actually opting not to go for flash, so kind of just be relying on his own movement speed and things like that. So interesting setup there for Toon World, but flash isn't as important, I feel, on Howling Abyss, especially on a character like Udyr. Of course, you can just run super fast, but with the fact that you can't really flash over walls on Howling Abyss, it's not exactly the same usefulness as you'd see on Summoner's Rift.
I hope he can get away.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they can do. But that's the thing is Udyr should be able to hopefully just run in and out of fights just strictly based on his kit. He can pop turtle form and transform into bear form and run away with speed as well as that shield. Things like that. So we'll see if Toon World can actually make it happen, which, nice name, by the way, with a little bit of a pun there in Toon World. But we'll see if Udyr can make things happen. I like the heal. I like the exhaust, especially for, like you said, shutting down the Katarina, because if Katarina gets exhausted when she comes in, it's really, really annoying. Same thing can be said if, for example, Ari ults in offensively, get the exhaust on her, and it kind of shuts her down right away. And I guess same thing could be said for Shaco as well, which actually yesterday on Aram Tournament, we saw an AP Shaco actually played to great effect, which kind of boggles my mind. But hey, you never know. It's Aram Tournament. Anybody can do anything, and it could work here.
I've heard a lot about AP Shaco lately. I don't see what the fascination is. I have never been a Shaco fan myself. No one's actually played AP Shaco in my games. Hopefully, thankfully, I guess. But
Yeah.
maybe they're gonna bring it out here. Maybe this is their time to shine.
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of a different strategy. Like you said, I haven't personally looked into Shaco very much, and thought, theory crafted on Shaco. I thought, what can we build in him and things like that. But usually, what you end up seeing Shaco do in Summoner's Rift is he'll go kind of like a Hydra build, like a split push type build, and just be this really, really annoying split pusher the whole game. But of course, because there's no split pushing in Howling Abyss, maybe it's more effective to kind of put your resources into developing other skills and things like that. Maybe ones that scale with AP. Who knows, really, here. I'm not exactly the biggest Shaco connoisseur, so I don't really know if it's worthwhile doing that stuff. We'll see whether he goes AP or AD here, but to be honest, before yesterday, I would have told you you'd be crazy to go AP, but what do I know? I like I said, I don't know anything about Shaco. He's a crazy, crazy clown, and he can make some things happen there. Going with the exhaust, going with the flash, and I like the exhaust as well for the side of Ziani Ditched Us. Still going with the same summoner spells, actually. The three ignites and the 2 exhausts, so again, very offensive.
They are indeed. I actually kind of like seeing clarity on an ARAM map. You don't really see it very often. I like it. Lets you stay out, stay in front longer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Heal as well as Clarity are both great on ARAM maps because you can't go back to the fountain to heal. So unless you have some sort of sustain built into your team comp, unless you have a Sona, Soraka, an Alistair, something that can heal you or give you mana back for whatever the kit is, like Soraka can get mana back in her kit, things like that. Having that Clarity, not only the fact that Clarity gives you back your mana, but it gives back mana to your entire team right there. So having your entire team grouped as 5 summoner spells that help out your entire team, they're even more effective because your entire team is right there. And oh my goodness, I got booted out of the game, so I'm gonna have to piggyback spectate. Hopefully, we'll see if we can jump in here. I think should hopefully work. Gonna do some quick fixes here, get some duct tape attached to this, and hopefully it'll hopefully we'll be holding together. I'm back in spectate. I'm back in loading, so we'll be jumping into the game here really quickly. Once again, on the blue side, we have all mid, all modes against the purple side. Ziani ditched us. JK. This is our quarterfinal round, and I am back in the game excellently. Yay, I'm very happy. Katarina opting for the Seeker's Arm Guard, so trying to rush Azonia's. Interesting pickup, because the Seeker's Arm Guard, you have to kind of stack by killing minions a bit before you can get that 15 stacks and increase the armor and ability power. So interesting pick there by Katarina. To be honest, I'm not too sure if that's the best idea, but we'll see how Juke God can make it work here.
They're all mid, all modes is mostly AD. Ezreal is probably building AD as a Sheen. I mean, it could go either way, but he's probably going AD. And
Yeah,
Shaco is in fact going AD as well.
Yeah, which makes sense. Going for the triple longsword right there, and then just going for the giant amount of sustain. Catalyst the Protector on that Elise, which you see a fair amount. All mid, all modes likes to build those Catalyst the Protectors, so it looks like Elise kind of copying that Icy Fire, doing the same thing. You see the Catalyst the Protector on that Syndra right there, who will probably going into Rod of Ages. But as you were saying, a fairly AD stacked comp for all mid, all modes, so we'll see if Ziani ditched us JK, their team will itemize against that and then focus down the Syndra, because if you itemize against the AD, you build armor, and then focus down the 1 AP threat, then your itemization should be great, and you should be able to. There's the picks I was talking about before. Gross Pigeon getting super low. There's the flash by Juka, but he's not in range. No, he is in range. He jumps forward.
Whoa.
There's the healing though from Gross Pigeon. The meditation might be able to heal him in time. The exhaust on Juka, and there's going to be a first blood. Twitch picks up the first blood, actually, just trading but a split second apart. Master Yi goes down as well for that trade. There is the repel from Elise. We'll see where she comes down onto the minions, trying to run away, but that is going to be a 1-for-1 so far. Bloodthirsty game.
She knows the relic shield on Janna. Never.
Yeah,
actually
it's kind of a weird thing because of course Janna is ranged, so it's really hard. You don't get the actual execute there from the relic shield. So to be honest, I don't know if that's the best pickup right there. As you can see, Janna just first now getting the first proc on her relic shield. Toon World going ham, gets ignited actually, and they're going to trading on, and they go down. Yeah, Ziani picks up the kill onto Toon World actually. Over aggression coming out from Toon World, still had his exhaust up, but there was just so many people. I don't know if an exhaust would have saved him there. I'm not too sure what the. He wasn't with his team though. That's the really confusing thing. Is to be honest, all mid, all modes are an extremely coordinated team, and to be up there kind of by himself without the team coming to help him out, that's really uncharacteristic of them. And we're seeing actually tied in gold right now. Ziani ditched us. JK holding their own against the reigning champs. All mid, all modes. They jump in on Lady Santa as well, and down goes Lady Santa. This pick potential, like I was talking about, and the Katarina cleanup. They're chasing after them right now. Rare Candy being forced to flash away. What is a wolf? Has no mana right now. Toon World getting super low on HP, and a great start for Ziani ditched us. JK up 4-1 in kills.
Those Ari charms, they're getting the picks. You were right. You were right.
Yeah, absolutely, because if you land one, you can just train it on top. It's super easy to hit a skill shot when the person can't move. So if they land a cocoon, they land a charm. They just train stuff on top of that. And to be honest, Janna kind of works in that comp as well because she can knock people up. And if they're knocked up in the air, it's easy to hit the cocoons, easy to hit the charms. So really they have kind of 3 ways to make those picks happen. And Juke had been following up like a madman, going crazy, jumping in there in the front line. He did die, the only person of his team to go down so far, but he's been there for every single one of the kills so far. 100% kill participation on everybody from Ziani ditched us JK, so a great start from the red side.
Oh, I look forward to seeing more Ari picks.
Yeah, absolutely. And once they get level 6 here, it'll be even more devastating. Once Katarina can get her ult off, once Ari can get that high mobility of her ultimate, it's going to be really strong. Now, of course, Elise doesn't have that level 6 power spike, but I really feel like it's not the biggest deal in the world because they kind of trade that off with, say, someone like Udyr, who doesn't have the level 6 power spike either. So it's not really that big of a deal. Master Yi's, of course, ultimate will be really strong there as well, but you see Shaco jumping in, throwing down those Shaco boxes, getting some poke on the minions, but I said this last time. Oh, there's actually the flash cocoon jumping in. Gross Pigeon trying to meditate out of this. Good stun there by Syndra, knocking people back, but down goes Master Yi. The coordination from Ziani ditched us here with this pick comp they've developed is insane. They're playing this game perfectly so far.
They really are. That flash cocoon? beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I see Fire right there, who's a buddy of mine, and he plays tons of different roles and stuff. I originally met him as a jungler, though, and that's one of the champions that he excelled on was that Elise, so I don't think it was a mistake that they kind of switched around roles here and put I see Fire on that Elise, put Ziani on a mid laner like Ari, which is his common role. So I think that they did some great champion trades to make sure that they had the best players on those specific champions, and we can see so far the Charm's on point, the Cocoon's on point, 5-1 so far for Ziani Ditchdust. They were getting pushed into their turret early, and now they've taken back this lane control.
Udyr going tanky. Looks like he's building a locket.
Yeah, which is probably a good idea because of course the Ari as well as the Katarina are probably going to be doing the most amount of damage. The only real AD damage is that Shaco, which is again probably why we see him being built AD right there, is to kind of split up the damage sources there from his team, make sure they can't just fully itemize against magic resist there, or against AP, excuse me, with magic resist for the side of all mid all modes.
I want to see Shaco get some more kills. I don't know why.
Oh wow, flashing forward with the Monsoon from Janna, but she has super low mana. I don't know if the team was on the same page of that, but there's Ziani using his ult as well, and they pick up the kill on Twitch. In goes Juke. She gets exhausted, but doesn't even matter. They pick up 3 kills right there. Double kill for Katarina, a kill for Ari as well, and their 2 main carries are getting fed right there. Like you said, Shaco not picking up as many kills as you'd like to see, but hey, it's really not the end of the world when you're getting your 2 kind of assassin mages fed, and it's early enough in the game that they can't finish a locket yet. They're still just sitting on the Aegis currently.
Yeah, the Janna went in, and the rest of them were just like, huh? And then, you know, they picked it up real fast. But you could tell at first they were like, oh!
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely seemed like Forbesana kind of just called it out on comms after he kind of did that. He just flashed in and went, guys, I'm doing this. They said, oh, okay, cool. But the nice thing for the side of Ziani Ditchdust JK is their CC is ranged with that Charm as well as that Cocoon, so they can actually jump pretty far close, even though Katarina, of course, is a melee champion with that Shun Poke and gap close extremely well, so their team can actually gap close great. And there's the Flash Charm actually coming out from Ari. That's going to be What is a Wolf going down. The Flash CCs are insane. I see Fire trying to turret dive, pick up the kill on Lady Santa, but it's forced to back out, just barely staying alive. There's Master Yi trying to go on the reset train. He gets one. Can he get down Marlaud? Actually, Marald, whatever the heck his name is, gonna try and pick up that relic health, but there's not nearly enough. And down goes Ziani as well. That's gonna be an ace there for the side of all mid, all modes. But I really feel like Ziani Ditchdust JK will be very strong once they're able to come back and buy. But their 80 carries are alive, which is gonna be really good. Toon World trying to get the execute off. Good job by Toon World. But Rare Candy and Lady Santa are the 2 people you want alive if you're all mid, all modes to get damage on this turret.
He tried to get taken out by the turret, but he didn't quite get it, and he gave Ari the kill.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things where you kind of just have to say, hopefully this works. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world, but if it does, then it's going to be definite benefit for your team. But the locket is finished now, as well as the Sanguine Blade, actually, for that Twitch there. So that's going to be really rough as well. The Rod of Age is completed for Syndra. Tons of items being finished, and Katarina now has her Zhonya, so that's not only going to be really effective in kind of limiting the damage from the AD carry threats on all mid all modes, just a bit, but as well as really opening up team fights for Katarina. She can go in, and if she gets a prime Zhonya's off, can actually get her cooldowns up to escape afterwards. Any sort of assassin with a Zhonya's like that really increases your team fight potential immensely when you have that stasis available.
Luden's Echo on Ari, so she can move a little faster, hit those charms. Well, she hit that one on Udyr. It wasn't really going to do too much, unfortunately. But it's better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Enough to chunk him out a little bit right there. And like you said, the Luden's Echo is great for wave clear as well, which is one of the things that is really underrated on these maps. Usually, a team that has a ton of wave clear can either stall the game or just force the game into the enemy side of the map, which is what they're trying to do right now, is just shove waves and force them under their own turret, get some damage on there, and try and create picks for their own team. But it's really all mid, all modes. I feel like they need to rely on the tankiness of Udyr, and Toon World right now is kind of in the front. They're getting caught by CC, taking a bunch of damage right now. The Spiders from Elise doing a fair amount of damage as well. And actually, Janna doing a fairly decent job. I still would have liked to see it something other than the Relic Shield, but she's doing a decent job. Good poke right there. Good stuns coming in from Syndra, excuse me. And good damage in on everybody from Ziani Ditchdust JK. And that's exactly what you need to do if you're all mid, all modes, is get damage before the fight starts, and then your team fights are already half won when you actually are forced to engage, or when one of your teammates gets picked. You can counter-engage on top of that. Because it really seems like most of these team fights are being started by Ziani Ditchdust JK landing some form of CC to initiate the combat.
They're pushing back because I had a cat in my face. Comforting cat here. Oh, they're, they're pushing back really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ziani taking control of his health relic right there. I like the Shaco box right on top of the health relic. That's what I like to see on these ARAM maps on Howling Abyss like this, is you put your traps, you put whatever you have, any sort of stuff like that on top of the health relics. So if the enemy team wants to get them, they have to eat your trap or whatever the case may be. Good knockback there from Syndra. But some decent damage coming in from Ziani as well, even though he's kind of keeping himself safe there with the help of his team.
Oh, I can't breathe.
Oh, here's the engage actually. Futara, or Forbisonic, excuse me, that's a different person. I don't know why. That is an entirely different player. Forbisonic jumping in there as Janna. Pop the Monsoon. Her Flash is going to be back up shortly there. I would have actually liked to see her hold on to that Monsoon a little bit longer because her Flash is back up. Maybe we could see another crazy Flash Monsoon initiate like we saw before. And if they do that, they split up the team. But here we go. There's the engage. Gross Pigeon going down immediately. And that is one of the people they need for those team fights to go in. Juke God popping the Zonias and gets a double kill onto Udyr from inside the stasis. Disengage coming in there from Ezreal as well as Twitch and Syndra, but unfortunately for the side of all mid all modes, their two melee champions go down fairly easily to Ziani Dish's JK.
You know, I can kind of see why she got Relic Shield, I guess. Facing the mountain cat when she goes in, maybe she won't die. But
yeah, that's the thing. It's just it feels weird to pick up that Relic Shield there, specifically for building face of the mountain, but another catch there onto what is a wolf. And this has just been the story of the game so far. Cat does get shut down, but they will be able to pick up the kill onto Rare Candy. There's Ziani going down as well, and it looks like they're trying to kill themselves here. For the amount of deaths in this game, the fact that every single turret in the game is still at decent health right now, not even really close to death, is pretty absurd. It's 9 kills for the side of all mid all modes, 14 kills for Ziani Dish's JK, and the turrets are the most healthy things in the entire game.
I haven't even seen people hit the turret. They're all just dancing around it. Trying to kill Yi.
And look at the armor pen coming out for Master Yi. He's built the Last Whisper as well as the Brutalizer, so any armor coming up for Ziani Dish's JK will be shredded by that Master Yi. So not too shabby a build right there. Which
He's actually going to build armor.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's for if you're the side of Ziani Dish's JK, you probably want to build some form of armor, build a Randuin's or something like that. You see the Elise with the Righteous Glory though, which is an interesting pickup. To be honest, I feel like they need something a little bit more tanky on there, but I guess the Righteous Glory is enough. They have the fact that they'll be able to train the Righteous Glory into their CC picks will make it so that they don't need to be coordinated, to be honest. As long as Elise knows that what's going on with the team, as long as Elise sees the charm, as long as Elise sees the cocoon, as long as Elise sees the tornado, whatever it is, and she pops the Righteous Glory, the team really has to just... They don't even need to react in time. The Righteous Glory has enough speed for them to capitalize it. Here we go. There's the engage coming on. Orbisana super low, and she has that Monsoon. There's the flash forward that I was talking about before. Beautiful play. They separate Gross Pigeon from the team, but actually Katarina going a little bit over-aggressive, and this is what I was afraid of, is if they don't have the extra tankiness, if they don't get the initial kills right there, they are not tanky enough to survive. I see fire flashing through the team to try and get in onto Yi in the back line, but they do not pick it up. If you don't kill them initially, you can't really get anything after that. Their entire comp relies on getting picks and killing the person that they pick before the fight happens. You see the Spectre's Cowl built there for Gross Pigeon. It was barely enough to keep him alive. Great job by Ziani going in there and picking up the kill onto Ezreal, but that is going to be Master Yi picking up a double kill under the turret. And this is all mid, all modes starting to take control of this game. What a turnaround.
Ooh, I didn't even see those Yi kills. This happened so fast. Sorry, darting.
Oh my goodness, and actually dodging away there. Gross Pigeon using his Alpha Strike to go into Juke God in the bush right there. He probably will go down right here. No, there's the repel from Elise. Will she go forward or defensive with this? She's going to try and go defensive, but unfortunately, the kill gets picked up. And this is a really interesting kind of turn of events right here, because all mid all modes now has a minion wave as well as enough damage to try and take some good damage on this turret. Good thing for the side of Ziani Dish's JK is they have Forbisana right there to shield the turret whenever her E's up.
I wish Shaco could do more in ARAMs.
And he is kind of going for the Summoner's Rift build, the kind of standard Shaco build that you normally see, which is that Ravenous Hydra into, he's picking up, maybe he'll go Trinity Force, maybe he'll go Static Shiv for pushing pressure and things like that. To be honest, I'd say Static Shiv would probably be the best right here. So Shaco can actually get some AoE damage in when he comes into these team fights, because really... Oh no, there's the pick onto Toon World. Toon World barely staying alive right there, getting away. He doesn't even have Merc Treads right now, but the Charm barely lasting like a second right there. Toon World must have some form of tenacity in his masteries, I guess. because he was just right out of that charm. And Ziani getting chunked right there by some Ezreal Qs. Ezreal actually has gone AP right there, so it is kind of splitting the damage sources from all mid, all modes right there, so you can't really itemize effectively against their team. Really, they have damage coming out from all sources, all directions, and even if you do build armor, you do build magic resistance, they can cut through it there with the Sork boots, things like that, as well as the Last Whisper, Brutalizer cutting through any sort of armor that they do pick up. Gross Pigeon barely dodging a Cocoon right there, though, and he actually goes in there for some decent damage before running away. Ezreal's ultimate, huge damage in an AP build.
Janna's the first one to start picking up armor. I don't really know what she's building. It's just a cloth armor, but she's the first one.
Yeah, picking up a tad right there. As you see, because Janna's actually been going fairly aggressive in this matchup. But it's really going to be difficult for them, as we saw before. If they don't get the initial kill on the pick, it's going to be pretty much a one team fight for all mid, all modes. They just have the more kind of well-rounded counter team. If there's no initial pick, if the person doesn't die right away, it's gonna be all mid, all modes all day, every single day. Because it's gonna be so tough. I'm really hoping that we can land something from Katarina in the back. We saw the last team fight, she got over aggressive, jumped in before her team was really there, kind of dove the back line. They need to all dive the same person at the same time. They can't split up whatsoever. All the damage from Ziani and Dishtas JK needs to be right on one person, and if they're calling out those targets, they should be able to pick them off one at a time.
It just needs to not be Udyr.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. Is Udyr is one of those champions where the later the game gets, the more unkillable he becomes, and Toon World is slowly getting to that place. He's picked up that the Lock of the Iron Solar, as well as the Kindle Gem. When he goes back to a buy after he dies, he's got 2.2k gold to spend as well. So once he does spend that, he'll be the tank that they really need in this front line, and can start to kind of bully out Ziani just as JK, which we saw Toon World try to do at the beginning of the game, but it just wasn't tanky enough at that point to really zone them out effectively with a straight melee champion like Udyr.
He's doing a really good job of staying right in the front, getting all those charms.
Yeah, exactly, which like you said, is he's the one who wants to soak up those CCs, soak up the damage, and make sure that if there is anyone getting attacked from Ziani just as JK, it's somebody who's tanky enough to survive the burst, which right now it seems like they're able to do. They're really taking control of this map right now and really putting the pressure on Ziani Distas JK to make something happen, which they're trying to do with these picks, but it's much harder to do the later the game goes.
Oh, it is an APS. Look at that.
Yeah, he's rocking the Lich Bane, rocking the Luden's Echo there, so he's got some decent wave clear as well as some good poke, and his ultimates hit for a ton, as well as his arcane shifts there. That's really my favorite thing about AP Ezreal, is how much his ultimates hit for, because of course when you're building standard Ezreal, you're not really getting the same scaling from the AP, but there's an attack onto What is the Wolf, forced to flash away. They're going in after Toon World. Let's see if they can pick something up there. Toon World making it happen, but Twitch picks up the kill on Janna. In goes Juke, it gets blown up immediately before she pops Zonya's in the back line there. Gross Pigeon does get exhausted, but it's going to be too late, and this is going to be all mid, all modes, cleaning things up. 4 people down so far. Ziani barely trying to get away. Can Gross Pigeon make this happen? Ziani getting some damage on. There's the exhaust, forced to flash away. Gross Pigeon speeding himself away, and I don't know if I was going to say he might be killed here by Ezreal, but Ziani barely staying alive. To be honest, he might have actually just wanted to die at that point, because I don't know what you can do with no health, no mana, and no summoner spells right there. Ziani forced to just chill right now.
Pick up some of those kills. Oh,
Yeah.
Turret got it.
Oh, can he get... Oh, Cocoon just barely missing on Toon World, but Gross Pigeon in the back gets the kill onto Ziani right there. For Basana trying to make something happen on Rare Candy. Rare Candy kiting for his life, but will pick up the kill right there in the back line, though. Shaco picking things up, and the Juke God getting those resets, going ham in this team fight. Ace for Ziani just as JK. Let's see what they can get before the respawns come out for all mid, all modes.
Maybe they can get a tower.
Let's see, they're going straight
get
forward, actually. Juke God just going ham right now. Does he want to get an execute? Does he really have that much money to spend? I thought he just came
Didn't
from
he
turret.
just
No, he
die?
does. I was going to say he just died, but he just also cleaned up a team fight right there, so he does have about 2k gold to spend currently. So hey, not the worst idea in the world right there, and they will be able to take this turret with some good tanking from Marld right there.
Hopefully they can take the turret. They're actually abandoning it.
Yeah, they're going to back out, actually. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Wow, and it stays alive 18, almost 19 minutes into the game. Still no turrets down for the side of all mid, all modes. And that's really kind of the difference when you've got 280 carries on your team. Of course, Ezreal is building AP, so I guess you can kind of say 180 carry with the Twitch. But still the fact that you've got more people to push down these turrets. Unfortunately, they just didn't have the damage to take that down, and no minion wave there as well either. Toon World jumping in there. Icy Fire taking some damage. Gross Pigeon dives the back line, but just decides to back off. Oh, huge chunk on his Ziani right there. Wow, that's really unfortunate. Oh, and I see Fire getting hit by that Syndra ultimate. Decently chunked, but actually a really tanky Janna, to be honest. He's got that magic resistance as well as that armor there. He's building the Seeker's Arm Guard. And of course, like we keep mentioning before, he built that Face of the Mountain there, starting off from the Relic
Yep.
Shield. Which is an interesting pickup. Like you said, Face of the Mountain is good. It helps out her team, but with 13 CS, I'm pretty darn sure that Janna has not been making use of the actual the passive there of that Face of the Mountain of the Relic Shield and the Targon's Brace as she was upgrading it there to help out her team and getting that gold shared. But hey, you never know. I don't do math that well, so maybe she has been using it effectively. But I think that she needs more CS at this point in order to get all those procs off, and that's why you don't really see this item on Janna that often. But there we go. Gross Pigeon might be going down there. There's the stun into Juke God from Udyr, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're afraid of that Katarina, is get your Udyr into the mix. Icy Fire barely staying alive. The Cocoon actually splits. Field goal Cocoon. Icy Fire barely staying alive. Can they kill Toon World in time? They kill him down. Toon World staying alive. Lady Santa getting hit by Marl. Actually stays alive with the flash. The Ani going to get hit down by What Is a Wolf. And that is going to be nearly an ace. 4 kills. Now that should be an ace after Rare Candy. No, he flashes into the turret and then backs off, actually. For Bastana, staying alive. Toon World tanking the turret for a split second before he backs up, but he might go down here. Yes, he will. Oh no, the turret actually died in time. The turtle's shield there from Toon World is more than enough to keep him alive, but here comes Juke God. Great push back there by What Is a Wolf to save his Udyr, actually. Oh, Juke God picks up the kill, but that is going to be the game. All mid, all modes, pulling themselves out the win. It was an extremely back and forth, very even game right into the middle there, and then really all mid, all modes just kind of took control once they got to the mid game. So great play from both teams. Really exciting back and forth game.
Yeah, good job, both teams. Y'all did great.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be moving on into our semi-final match here in the next round. That is going to be all mid, all modes, moving on to the next round. So congratulations to them. Ziani ditched us JK, though. Great effort, making it a very competitive game, very fun to watch, fun to cast. And we're moving on to our next lobby very shortly. My name is Streetball, casting alongside Slightly. We are the Random Championship Series, and we'll be right back with our semi-final game.
But if you can't find the time, then cut me loose. 'Cause I don't have the time, and I don't have the patience. What do you take me for? Why am I still waiting? 'Cause while you decide, I'm stuck here suffocating.
There's Syndra.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Random Championship Series Open Division Aram Tournament for today, Friday, April the 17th. My name is Streetball, casting alongside Slightly, and we are in our semi-final match with all mid, all modes on the blue side and KMG on the purple side. This was actually our grand final from yesterday's Aram Tournament, a great match between two very high caliber of teams, and it looks like, oh my god, we've got the Hook trifecta on the side of KMG. We've got Thresh, Nautilus, and Blitzcrank. What are the odds of this?
Those are ARAM winners.
That is insane. That is absolutely insane. I don't know if I've ever seen that in ARAM before, actually. They have all three of the hookers, I guess bad term there, bad wording, on one team. One team right there. But they have a lot of skill shots to hit on all mid, all modes right there. So I guess it's going to be skill shot city here between all of the hooks coming out from KMG and all of the Syndra spheres, the Nidalee spears, and the Lee Sin Qs. I wish there was a rhyme for the Lee Sin Q, and then I would have sounded like a genius, but instead I sounded like half a genius and then an idiot at the end. But semi-final match, going to be insane. And everybody switches out to exhaust there right at the last second there, all mid, all modes. Going for 3 exhausts. Kind of uncharacteristic of them, actually.
With an all-support team, they want to exhaust? Are they just all wanting to exhaust Fiora?
I was going to say, maybe they just have this exhaust train set up in voice comms where they go. They've got 1 through 3, and Fiora comes in, and you go with 1 and exhaust. As soon as that fails out, exhaust number 2 comes in. That's... To be honest, that's probably what I would do, because I really feel like Fiora is their key to victory right now. Now, of course, just Kenny there on Rek'Sai could build damage possibly and be more of a carry Rek'Sai, but we'll see how it goes. Really, it's going to be up to Fiora to do the main amount of damage. So if you exhaust Fiora every single time she comes in, which 3 exhausts should be enough for that, then you've kind of negated the main damage threat from KMG before the game even started.
I think we'll see another Crypt Plank. 3 Brawler's Gloves to start.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we do have Gangplank back in the game, and it is Gross Pigeon, so I would not put it past him. Gross Pigeon is a crazy dude, likes to make some crazy things happen in game. So you never know. It could be that gold-obsessed Gangplank we saw in the last game with 6 Brawler's Gloves going into 6 Avarice Blades and coming out with a great KDA as well on top of that. So you never know what we'll see. I'm very excited for this game because it's really going to be kind of up in the air. If they can, it's the same thing we saw last game where basically if they can land the CC, they can just train CC on top of that. Someone lands a not hook, but really, to be honest, the ideal would probably be a blitz hook into a thresh hook into a not hook, because the blitzcrank hook will pull the person back towards your team, and then the thresh hook will pull them even closer towards your team slightly with possibly a thresh follow-up, and then Nautilus will pull himself towards the opponent. If they do it in a different order, it might actually not work out as well. I have yet to see.
The stun, so it works.
I was going to say, because Nautilus will pull himself towards the enemy. So if he does that first, and then Blitzcrank pulls the other guy back, then Nautilus is kind of just by himself in the enemy team at that point. So you kind of have to coordinate the hooks on top of that. I'm very interested to see how they'll kind of pull this off. I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. It is going to be absolute mayhem.
I really want to see the hook train. I really want to see it.
That's what I want to see. You got to go Blitz into Thresh into Nautilus, and I think that's the perfect hook train, and then of course the Rek'Sai pop-up on top of that, and then Fiora just slaps the keyboard, hits the right click, and things just die. So very excited to see if they can pull off that wombo combo. But like we said before, skill shots aplenty for all mid, all modes, plus the heal coming out from Lady Santa on Nidalee right there, so they should have a decent little comp there, especially in the early game, but any one of those people could be hooked to their death, so we'll see if they can pull it off for the side of KMG. Very excited for this game so far in our semi-final round.
You know, I've never seen a Yorick in an ARAM.
He's not too shabby. Now, normally what we'll see is usually he'll pick up a tier or something like that, so he can just spam his ghouls the entire game. But because of the sustain built into his kit, it helps him out a fair deal. So he's not too bad in ARAM matches. Plus, of course, you can use that ult on somebody important. I'm expecting it to be maybe on the Syndra or something like that, because Syndra will do a fair amount of damage. But ult somebody important, and then you've basically got an extra carry on your team. Basically, you've got 2 of the same hard carries right there. So Yorick is not too shabby on this match, even though he doesn't really have that much of a place in the current meta. He's he can do work put in the right hands, and if anybody can pull it off, it's going to be all mid, all modes.
Yeah, I know. I
I'm so excited.
I can't wait. I know.
Yeah, this might be the possibly the funnest ARAM I will have ever casted in my life, because I have, like I said before, I've never seen this triple hook comp. People don't even do this when you can draft and you can actually select the triple hook comp. I've never seen it. You know what I mean? But when you go random champions, this is a sign from the heavens that we're gonna have a great game right now so far. And it looks like we do have. Oh my goodness, okay, we've got a Catalyst Protector on Not as well as on Blitzcrank. We've got a bunch of tiers there as well, but the game is going to start off right away. There's the hook train, there's the skill shots, the ghouls are already in play, and everybody just backs off. Bush control won by all mid all modes. The first kind of back and forth of the game goes over to the blue
Blitz is
side.
late to the party.
And that's the thing, is if you're not outright... Oh my goodness, look at those spears landing. Oh, that's good, that's good. Nidalee has opted to go for the tier as well as the amp tomb, which I love, because not only is the tier going to allow you to just throw spears as well as heal people all day long, Hook just barely missing from lip slip, but the amp tomb will make it so when you hit those spears, they actually hurt, which is kind of the give and take between Nidalee, is usually people either start with damage, and then it's like you can only throw a limited number of spears, but they do hurt a lot, or they start with sustain, and then you can throw a ton of spears, but none of them hurt. So I like the half and half build so far from the start from Lady Santa on Nidalee, and as we can see so far, the spear is doing work at the beginning of the game.
Ooh.
Oh, beautiful hook on the Toon World, and Cinder's gonna be the first casualty right now. Beautiful Blitzcrank. There's the non hook coming on top, the dash away from Rare Candy. Just Candy goes in, gets the pop up. There's the hook train on the Gross Pigeon. The CC is absurd. The exhaust on a Tuxie. What is a wolf getting knocked down as well? There's the lockup. There's the fly backwards, has to flash away. This is the greatest game I've ever seen in my life, and we're already only 1.5 minutes in. I'm so happy to be casting this game right now.
So the hooks weren't really, like Blitz into Thresh and Not, but they were A+.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't all at the same time. It was just this giant sustained CC train, which to be honest is probably better. You're just constantly hooking different people, flaying people into hooks, getting people knocked up with Rek'Sai, Rek'Sai impregnating people even though she's a woman, making things happen. I'm just so excited about this freaking game right now. Rek'Sai tunnels already all over the map. Here comes the next wave of minions. Gross Pigeon eating a bit of Rek'Sai poke so far. I can't wait till the next Hook Fest.
Oh, I gotta get rid of those bitches first. Oh, Blitz is going for it. Oh, he backs off.
Yeah, Red Satire seems to be the one who's trying to make these plays right here, which is not surprising. But there we go, there's the engage from Syndra, knocking people into the wall. They didn't engage off of the hook, so they need to be careful and back out and then try and get the hook engage. Oh, barely missing is Spelina with it. But there we go, they get What is a Wolf, they get the knock up as well. There's the Rek'Sai knock up on top of that, they pick up the kill. In goes Rare Candy, but he has to dash out. Gross Pigeon taking a fair amount of damage as well, but 2 kills so far in this game, both going over to KMG.
Those Blitz grabs, they just, like I said earlier, they're an ARAM winner.
Oh, and these hooks are so close coming up from Felina as well. It seems like everybody is on the same page for KMG right now, and they're taking control of this game here early. I don't even know what to say. I'm a loss for words right now. More spears hitting from Nidalee, but as this game goes on, until she goes back to buy, they're not going to be as effective as they could be once she expends that gold. Rek'Sai tunnel's being destroyed there by Gross Pigeon, which is kind of a casualty of war here, I guess, for just Kenny, because we really don't have any control to keep those Rek'Sai tunnels alive on a big map. It's so skinny right there. But we'll see if we can get some more hooks landing. They are close to under the turret. Red Satire, you can see him trying to line up the angle. There's the W from Blitzcrank, barely missing. And we forgot to mention this actually, because of the W changes there on Blitzcrank, he's going to have that slow after every time he pops that W, which to be honest, on this map, I feel like is less detrimental than on Howling Abyss, or than on Summoner's Rift, excuse me. Hook just barely missing from Not right there.
I'm pretty happy about the Blitzcrank change.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. Blitzcrank definitely super strong for a while, and really any person that's a good Blitzcrank is really can run games basically because of the fact that, like you said, you can just speed yourself up once you get those mobility boots as well as the W on top of that. But there's the hook on What is a Wolf, not under the turret, but there's the chain into Blitz or into the Thresh hook as well. There's Not grabbing Toon World, trying to keep themselves alive right now. There's just Kenny flashing in to get that knock up, see if they can get anybody else, but it is not going to be anybody else right there. Just one hook, or sorry, one pick, excuse me, by a bunch of hooks, but still 3-0 so far for KMG. Oh, just nice dodge there by Toon World.
Oh, just took that spear to the face.
And really, if all mid all modes wasn't as good at dodging skill shots as they are, there'd be more deaths so far because there have been hooks just barely missing at every second of the game so far, but some excellent jukes coming out from all mid all modes, trying to keep themselves alive right now because if one hook lands, they're pretty much dead.
I don't know why I didn't go for Gangplank right there.
And that's actually, I was just about to talk about that. That's something I've been seeing with higher elo players. I just saw Afromu do this a fair amount on his stream when he was playing Thresh a lot, and he was really doing this a fair amount where you focus on one person, but just gotta jump out of here for a minute. Lip slip going forward. Rare Candy picking up a bunch of damage on him, but he gets away just in time. There's the engage there from Just Kenny as well as Tuxie. There's the Nautilus ult as well, knocking a bunch of people off. Rek'Sai picks up 1 kill. Tuxie getting exhausted there as well. Of course, they are saving the exhaust, but there's Red Satire bopping up that Syndra. Toon World staying alive just barely. Nidalee picks up the first kill of the game for her team right there onto Fiora. But as I was saying there... Oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
No, Afro Moon, you were saying.
Oh yeah, okay, so I was about to say that what he was doing is he'd basically chase after a person and make them think 100%, oh, he's going to throw a hook at me, I gotta dodge this, and then as soon as he throws it to somebody over to his left, over to his right, somebody that he's not even remotely close to looking at, because they're not expecting to dodge it. He knows that the players he's playing against are so good that if he throws a hook and just tries to hit them, it's pretty much a guessing game. It's basically like a penalty shot in soccer. You guess left or right, just dive to one side and see if the person kind of screws up and makes the wrong choice. But really, when you have that kind of element of surprise, when you're throwing it at somebody who doesn't expect they're going to have to dodge it, they don't have that kind of reaction time to juke. It's entirely based on reaction time, and you can land a lot more hooks like that. So Red Satire, as a very high elo player, is used to competing with people that can dodge and juke these skill shots like nothing. They do it every single second of every day. So when you get those kind of reaction time hooks, those reaction time grabs, where people don't know they're supposed to be juking, that's when you can make those skill shots land. So I love that play from Red Satire, because really, to be honest, Gross Pigeon, he's a good enough player, he should have been able to dodge that. So it's kind of that next level mind game where basically like if you miss, you kind of look like you're stupid and you're like, well, why didn't he shoot at the person right in front of him? But if you hit, you're a god. It's one of those things. It's like it's the Mad Life play, right? Where you throw it to where the person is going to juke to, where they're going to flash to, where they're going to arcane shift to, where if you miss, you look like an idiot. But if you hit it, that's the next level stuff that we see in these high elo games. There is a hook from Lip Slip, but actually good dodge out. And that's the thing, that's the bad thing about hooking onto Rare Candy, is he can just safeguard back to his team right there. Tuxie gonna eat a spear. And this is where all mid, all modes, even though they're behind 4-1 in kills, they're starting to claw back in the game. And this is what we saw in the previous game, where all mid, all modes was behind a little bit in the early, but they slowly start to pull together with their comp, and they almost kind of learn as the game goes on and learn, what's our course to victory here? How can we win this game? And so far, it seems like making sure that the only people that are getting hooked are ones that can escape from it, people like the Lee Sin, things like that, and just land those Nidalee spears on the disengage. They're using their minions a lot to try and block the hooks, which is the right idea. Always make it hard, always make hard angles to block, but what is the Wolf getting pulled again? Flashes away this time, so flash down on Yorick. Next time he gets pulled, he should be dead, but a good flash on the reaction time from What is a Wolf, saving himself from a death.
Maybe he'll be their main target from now on.
Yeah, absolutely, and Phalina eating another spear right there, and this is what I'm so afraid of, is this kind of sustained poke coming out from Nidalee. She can hurt people while healing her team, and if they just do this over time, it's going to be the side of all mid, all modes coming out ahead. KMG relies entirely on them landing hooks, and if they don't land those hooks, all mid, all modes slowly wins over time.
Skill shot versus skill shot, Nidalee versus a hook.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But the thing is, the difference is that Nidalee, if she lands a spear, it's just straight up damage, where the hook has to be followed up by the entire team. But there's a hook onto Nidalee. We'll see if they can make something happen. Rare Candy jumping right in, actually, getting the kick off, but he goes down as well. Yeah, going forward there. Let's see, oh, he did get hooked, excuse me, sorry, like you said. Lady Santa there, getting ulted by Yorick, trying to keep some damage in there from the Nidalee. And this is what we were talking about from Yorick before, doing a fair amount of damage under the turret. Those spears still coming out, just Kenny barely staying alive. But yeah, Rare Candy still with flash and exhaust stuff, like you said, getting hooked, not able to burn his summoner spells, and those spears still coming out from Nidalee. So the Yorick ult, not exactly paying full dividends there, but hey, still doing well. There's the kills we're seeing coming on Lady Santa, and once she goes back to buy, her spears are just going to be game-changing. And this is really just kind of a testament to how good all mid, all modes is they kind of adapt as the game goes on and learn how to play their comp. They learn how to better dodge these hooks and get some good poke damage in while their Nidalee sustains up for them. They've slowly taken control of this game. And just Kenny, I think he just wanted to die right there. Yeah, it looks like the side of KMG is just wanting to die, but the problem is they're dying with a minion wave from all mid, all modes, so they're going to have a huge wave there for the turret to try and clean up an objective as well. Tuxie, excuse me, getting some good damage in there on Fiora, or as Fiora, excuse me. Takes down Nidalee, but the problem is that Nidalee is going to go back and buy, and she actually opted for a Morello's Nomicon. So an interesting pickup, because basically Nidalee, by picking up the Morellos, is saying, I want to do less damage, but I just want to be able to throw out spears and heal my team indefinitely. I never want to run out of mana, and I want to be able to just use my spells every single time they're up and not have to think about strategically using spears, just throw them out constantly and force KMG to just dodge for the rest of the game. Because you'll see a lot of Nidalee's go for more damage there. She had enough money to buy out Morello's outright, but there's the engage onto Toon World. Toon World's gonna go down there. CC Train is just more than enough to pick her out. But the thing is they still have a minion wave right there to try and block off the coming minion wave from KMG. We'll see if they can grab the turret, or it was enough to defend. We saw before a little bit of a larger minion wave for all mid all modes, and they were able to take more damage on the turret. We'll see if there can be a good exchange here, but there's the pull onto What Is a Wolf. Jumping in is Rare Candy as well to get the kick disengage back. Tuxie jumps under the turret as well. There is the ult from Fiora, and she just walks out with the heal coming from her buddy there, Thresh. Just absolutely great play coming from KMG to try and pick up some kills under the turret with these hooks. And this is the back and forth, is can they land the hooks? Or if they don't land the hooks, they're slowly going to get out-poked, out-sustained. But there's the hook onto Lady Santa. We'll see if they can make it happen.
Blitz too far for the double hook.
They did get the flash out of Nidalee there, so fortunately for them, next time they do land a hook, it'll be the end of days there for Nidalee. But that's kind of the game they're playing right now, is can they land the second hook after they burn the flash with the first hook? Gross Pigeon walking into the bush right there, gets flayed, and there's the hook from Nautilus on top of that. Tuxie taking huge damage, getting CC'd in the front line right there. Beautiful exhaust from Rare Candy made it so that Fiora couldn't really do anything, and there is the GP ult as well. Super hard to get away now with that slow as well as the good damage. Red Satire gonna go down here, and a great job from the side of all mid, all modes, making things happen. Getting the CC train themselves onto Tuxie, making the kind of the main damage source from KMG not really do anything that team fight. If they eliminate that Fiora, there's not many other people that can bring enough damage to kind of win these team fights. Oh, hook just barely missing on Rare Candy right there. That was super close. Could have been a max range hook from Faelina. But Faelina sitting on a little bit kind of low mana right now, but using the Relic Shield like I want to see it be used. And that's, of course, why Face of the Mountain works a little bit better on Thresh. Now, Thresh is one of the few ranged supports that it's actually a decent item to build on. The two that I can think of off the top of my head are Thresh and Annie, because they have ways to get their own executes. If you're not a melee champion, the Face of the Mountain or the Relic Shield, whatever it is, that's that support item, doesn't get the execute proc and doesn't last at the minions as effectively, but Annie and Thresh can do that with their E and Q respectively. But here goes Lip Slip jumping in. There's the disengage as well, but they get the hook on What Is a Wolf yet again, and he has no flash, just barely coming back up. Actually, no, he's going to be able to get out in time. What is a wolf staying alive, actually? Nidalee just barely keeping him alive. Oh, no, he does go down finally. Fiora in the back line. She's trying to make things happen. She does get exhausted. Is Rare Candy going to go down? No, he actually gets away just barely. No! They do pick up the kill, actually. Thresh picking up the kill. Ghost Pigeon in the back line getting hooked. There's the hook from Faelina as well. It is the 3 hook people alive for KMG. Let's see if they can make it happen. Lady Santa super low. There's the punch from Red Satire. Blitzcrank making it happen. The Thresh Blitz combo. But there is Syndra. She's got the range. The ult from Red Satire doing so much damage. He is an AP Blitzcrank. The ult, the hook, the combo, Red Satire making things happen for his team.
They're probably gonna get this tower.
Yeah, they're actually doing decent damage considering the fact that it is an AP Blitzcrank and a support Thresh, but Thresh gonna go down there to What Is a Wolf, kind of just wanting to die to spend his money. And Red Satire might want to think about doing the same thing. Let's check how much money he has. He's got 1,400 right now, so not the biggest deal if he sits on that currently. He does have a fair amount of mana as well as HP, especially if he picks up that health relic there in the back line. He'll be fine. And sitting on the Sheen as well as the Rod of Ages, he has a decent little item spike for himself, as you saw from there, doing a fair amount of damage AP-wise. Ooh, but Tuxie getting chunked by these spears left and right, and it's really been Tuxie who's been the main kind of target from Lady Santa with these spears, which is the right idea, because Tuxie is not only, like we keep saying, the main carry for the side of KMG, but also the squishiest member on the team by far. And I like that Rek'Sai is building partially damaged, though, to kind of supplement the fact that they don't have that many carries. And the same thing can be said for Red Satire on Blitzcrank there. They've opted for Thresh as well as Nautilus to be the true tank supports for the team and have a little bit more carry potential from Blitzcrank as well as Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I've never seen that Gangplank item before, the Lightbringer.
Oh yeah, let me mouse over that and actually find out what the heck that does. I think he just picked that up.
I know.
If anybody knows about it, it's all mid, all modes, because that is one of those items that you can only find on these maps in the different modes. So it looks like you get critical strike chance as well as attack damage, and we'll see what the passive does. But here's the fight. I'll kind of talk about that in a second. Oh, it is a stealth detecting mist. Grants vision to the target area for 5 seconds, so that's what the active they get from. So to be honest, I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, they're looking for traps. So I think he just bought that up just to test it out, to be honest, because I'm not sure exactly what the specific reason for buying that item is. I don't really feel like the active is going to get that much for his team. But Gross Pigeon just eating himself the orange and getting himself alive. But there's the Gangplank on as well. Just Kenny trying to get something in the backline. He gets one knockup, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. Rare Candy barely staying alive. Fiora getting exhausted as well. The triple exhaust is going to be so much for Fiora, and then a double kill for Nidalee right there, making things happen. Rare Candy, barely staying alive under the turret. The Blitzcrank hook just barely misses as well. Red Satire getting the bop up on What Is a Wolf. Lady Santa getting hooked under the turret by Nautilus, but they are going to go down, and that is going to be an ace. All mid, all modes, like we said before, taking control of the game in mid.
They just need more damage. They're all tanks.
Yeah, and that's exactly that we talked about kind of before. We mentioned in the previous round where this is kind of like a little bit of a similar game to what we saw in the quarterfinals there between all mid, all modes, and the previous team. I'm sorry, I cannot remember their name right now. I'll actually just check it up real quick, so I'm not kind of slighting them. Oh, it's Ziani Ditch Just JK. They change their name around all the time, so I know those guys, but their team name always changes. So Ziani Ditch Just JK was the same kind of thing where they had the pick comp, they've got the hooks on this team, but really if they don't kill someone immediately, like getting Gross Pigeon down right there, they can't win team fights. But right now they should be all right. Tuxie gets some damage down. Red Sidehair picks up the kill, and they're going to be able to train this damage in. Lip Slip should be able to hook onto Toon World. There he goes, grabs it. I would have liked Thresh to wait a second and wait for the hook to land from Nautilus before she hooked on top of that hook. But hey, they still get the kill anyways. But now super minions coming out on the map for all mid, all modes. I'm not sure how much they'll be able to get in exchange for these death timers.
They can at least get the first tower, I think.
Yeah,
It's
hopefully they
almost
should be
dead
able
from
to.
the last
Yeah.
time, so...
Yeah, absolutely, where they were forced to back off just before barely killing that turret the last time. They finally come back to clean up the job, clean up the mess, but these super minions, we'll see if they can hold them from this turret. They're doing a ton of damage to this turret. Great job so far by KMG, taking advantage of the death timers they have, but they're going to have to back out right now, and they might go down from this team fight. They're being chased right now. Lady Santa getting some big damage put on him, and actually Nautilus with a defensive ult right there. Red Satcher taking a long-range spear. In goes Tuxie for some trade damage on Gross Pigeon, but I don't know about that. There goes Just Kenny with a knockup on Gross Pigeon, but the team was not coordinated. Flashing away is Just Kenny. And What Is a Wolf just chasing. He does get hooked though, but they're not going to engage on this. They're just going to try and disengage as much as they can. They do stay alive. Every member is still alive for KMG, but they're all very low. Good hook by Lip Slip to try and pull himself away from danger.
I haven't mastered that yet as Nautilus. I'm not good at that.
I was gonna say it's definitely one of those things that is one of those kind of like extra things that you can do with kits when people kind of start to really look into champions. You're like, oh, you can actually pull yourself to safety and dodge things like that, or just pull yourself around the map faster. You'll see Nautilus is supports that are roaming with a Nautilus or something like that, or the jungle Nautilus pulling himself through the jungle onto those camps, onto dead inhibitors, dead turrets, walls, things like that. Nautilus becomes a reasonably mobile champion, both defensively and offensively with his hook. And that is why you see him really kind of as a top-tier support right now, and still played even in the jungle, and really in China you've been seeing him play top lane every once in a while, which is crazy. But yeah, really definitely not a meta pick by any means, but definitely played, not to the best success, but still kind of viable with the Cinder Hulk meta, things like that nowadays. Really you can kind of get away with stuff like that. But it just really shows how useful Nautilus is. Great hook onto Lady Santa right there. The ultimate coming out from Blitzcrank. We'll see if they can get something going. Rare Candy jumps in, but gets flayed back under the turret. Good job by Thresh. And the hook on Rare Candy. Great job by Feilina making Lee Sin's life hard. But he's able to just dodge back out and then get back in and try and train damage onto Tuxie right there. Lee Sin is extremely tanky, as well as does a bunch of damage. There's the Nautilus ult as well. We'll see if they can stay alive, but Knock goes down as well. Double kill for Nidalee, excuse me. Fiora going ham, but she is going to go down as well. It's going to be a triple kill for Nidalee. The ulted Gross Pigeon right there by Yorick. Still underneath the fountain right now. He's going to go down. Feilina stays alive, but that is what happens when you get that Yorick ult off. You just get kind of a second go through, and they have a bunch of damage here coming out from Syndra as well as Nidalee. Nidalee doing a great job of just using her auto attacks there with the attack speed from her heal, and they should be able to close the game out here if they can. Feilina getting super low. We'll see if they're able to do this enough, or if Kenny can actually get there in time. They're going forward. The hook just barely missing. There's the pop-up. Lady Santa jumping around. We'll see if she can actually make something happen on the Nexus. There's the auto attacks. Can they make it happen? And yes, they will pick it up. Good job by Lady Santa juking around right at the end of the game, and that is going to be all mid, all modes. Moving on into our grand finals. A fantastic game from both sides, but really all mid, all modes, just proving how good they are at this game mode, pulling things back in the mid game after losing pretty darn hard in the early game, to be honest.
Wow, those hooks.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a crazy hook train there in the beginning of the game, but it looks like we said before, they kind of adapted as the game went on and learned how to dodge those hooks, learned how to use their minions protectively, and really itemized extremely well, itemized very effectively. And they often go for kind of an investment style build with their items, as they kind of just we might lose early game, but we're going to bring it back in mid lane and eventually win in the late game. And that usually seems what all mid all modes are best at on these maps, which whatever kind of comp they end up getting stuck with, because it is of course just random champ selects. But we will be moving on into our grand final match here in just a second. We are the Random Championship Series. RandomCS.com is our website. You can visit us on Facebook, re.cs. Our Twitch page is randomcs.com/live. It'll take you directly to our Twitch page. Please give us a follow. Excuse me. My name is Streetball, casting alongside Slightly. We'll be moving on into our grand final match here in just a second. We'll be right back.
Systems upgraded.
Aram tournament for today, Friday, April the 17th. My name is Streetball, casting alongside Slightly, and we are on the other side of the bracket this time in our other semifinal game. We just watched the other semifinal game, so all mid all modes are in the grand finals now, and whoever wins this game will be facing them in our grand finals match. So on the blue side, in our semifinal match, we have GKD versus the purple side, Omega Squad. So we'll see who can take this game here and push themselves onto the grand finals to face our reigning champs, all mid all modes.
Oh, I like the alt combo from purple.
Yeah, from
I
Omega
honestly
Squad
forgot
over
which
there.
side was which. There you go. Thank you. I'm sorry.
No worries. Yeah, you're absolutely right there with Leona, her ultimate on top of the Ori ultimate. Throw the ball on her on top of that Wukong. You can really throw the ball on Leona or Wukong, however you want. And then, of course, the damage coming out from Cassiopeia as well. You get that Assassin Akali into the mix, and they have a great, like you said, a great team fight kind of wombo combo with the ultimate train. But really, on the side of GKD, they have the greatest support team in the world. It's pretty much like let's carry Yasuo comp. They've got the Morgana there for some Black Shield, as well as some snares. They've got the sustain coming out from Nami. They have the sustain from Alistar, as well as the peel. They've got offensive ability. I really feel like all three of those supports are great because they can not only peel, but also create offensive opportunities. All four of these supports, excuse me. All four of them are very offensive as well as defensive supports. You can kind of do whatever you need from them. And then, of course, really kind of to synergize with that Yasuo there, you've got the Pulverize from Alistar as well as the Flay from Thresh to create some knockups on top of the Bubble coming out from Nami. So they have actually a reasonably well-rounded team comp if you're going to have one carry and four supports. This isn't a bad comp to go for GKD.
Yeah, they got the knockup for Yasuo. Knockups. It's going to be lovely.
Yeah, because that's exactly what you want with your comp for Yasuo is you want somebody that can make things happen. So if you get a headbutt pulverize there from Alistair, you get bubbles from Nami, you get even some flays from a Thresh right there. Because Yasuo can ult off a bunch of crazy stuff. Back in the day, I used to play on a rank 5 team where I would play Tristana AD carry a fair amount, and my mid laner would play Yasuo all the time. And all the time he'd just say ready, 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 go, and I'd hit my ultimate, and he'd ult on top of that, and just the two of us, we'd just demolish people. Got a beautiful little cat cam going.
I'm sorry.
Some
People
pumpkin
noticed
action.
her.
uh, and the thing is that it's going to be really difficult for them to actually make this work though, because the problem is you can just itemize against Yasuo. You can just entirely just build armor. You can put in your masteries. In the defensive tree there's a thing that makes crits hurt less. I believe it's 10% less damage on crits if you go far enough in the defense. So I'd like to see maybe like Leona. Hopefully I went into that, things like that. There's a lot of ways you can shut down Yasuo, specifically if he's the only damage or the only real carry you have on your team. So I'm expecting to see maybe Morgana, maybe Nami possibly go AP to have some form of other carry potential on their team.
Yeah, I'm feeling the AP Morgana. I love a good AP Morgana.
It'll also, of course...
Not a Morgana mid, but just, an AP Morgana.
a Morgana that builds... Because she's able to clear so well with her pool, with her Tormented Soil right there. She can really clear entire waves. And that's the beautiful thing about playing Morgana in solo lanes on Summoner's Rift, is that once you get past a certain point, you can really just press W, and you don't have to think about last hitting. The entire wave just dies. It just melts in your Tormented Soil. So we'll see if General Franco goes for that AP or goes for more of a support, Dark Binding focused build, because that's something that you see... That's what I personally do when I play Morgana support, is I just max that CDR as fast as possible and just throw out Dark Bindings constantly. Because that's one of the beautiful things. Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about Morgana is you miss a Dark Binding, who cares? But you hit one, it's game changing. So if you kind of itemize yourself for mana regen as well as CDR, which is personally what I'd be doing in this Howling Abyss, is just max my mana regen, max my CDR, and just throw out binding, 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 binding. Because if you miss 9 bindings and hit 1, you're still doing your job. You're still making something happen. It's one of those things where you can. It's kind of, you don't get punished for messing up really, because you can just throw it out over and over again. You never run out of mana. Where if you build more of an AP focused Morgana, it's a little bit more imperative that you hit those cues, because if you miss them, the cooldown's long. You don't have as much mana. Things like that. Really, you're more focused on landing that snare and then landing the pool damage on top of that. And if you don't do that as an AP-focused Morgana, you're not doing your job. Whereas a support Morgana, you can get away with screwing up a lot more. And that is why I like to play support Morgana, so I can screw up and things are still A-okay. that is my style of gameplay. I know I'm going to screw up, so just prepare yourself for screw-ups. You make it so that even when you do screw up, things are fine. And it's one of those things. If you're bad, know you're bad and play like you're bad, and you won't be that bad.
Own
and
it.
that is my
Own
style.
you're bad.
Exactly. Know what you are. No, if you're not the greatest mechanical player in the world, don't try and make mechanical plays. Stick to what you're good at. Stick to what you know you're good at. Avoid what you're bad at, and then you can actually excel to kind of above where you really technically should be if you can play to your strengths and avoid your weaknesses. And that's one of the reasons I love Aram, is because it really is kind of that in a nutshell. It's, hey, here's your team comp. These are the champions you get. You just get what you get. Figure out a way to win with what you've been given. And that's really the beauty of Aram, is you don't get to pick your comp, but you still have to find a way to win with your team. General Franco, excuse me, I call it Flanco. General Franco getting some damage in there with a Tormented Soul. Whoa! Headbutt pulverize from Kibbutz. He's going insane right now. He's getting their first blooded. Oh my goodness. That was pretty much like he was trying out the Headbutt pulverize combo and then didn't realize that his team wasn't there. Oh, that's something that I would do. Oh no.
Yeah, me too.
I'd be so focused on hitting the Headbutt Pulverize combo, like, I need to get this right, and then I realize, oh my god, my team's not there. He gets the exhaust down, but when there's 5 people attacking you, 1 exhaust won't do enough. Akali picks up the first blood there, and that is really, I feel, the last person you want to get a kill on the side of Omega Squad.
Akali will take out your entire team, especially with the CC they have.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if they can land that team fight, the ultimate wombo combo like you were talking about before, Akali is just really free to just train damage. Akali is like the Fiora in the last game. They need to make sure anytime she comes in, she's just getting exhaust just dumped on her face, so she can't do anything when she does dive. Oh, good hook on a Cassiopeia. Good ball there from Orianna, though, as well. Actually, Cass flashing. This is going to be a huge engage. There goes Wukong, but he's going to go back with his clone there. All about that ace. Dashing in there, dashing out. Is he going to land? Oh, they do. They pick up the double kill there for Wukong, who actually started with the double Dorans and one longsword. So an aggressive start there for Wukong, who's really the only AD form of damage. Oh, nice binding underneath the turret right there on the Asian John, but he does not have the turret. 3-man bubble right there from Nami. Everybody is so low on the side of Omega Squad, but it's 4-0 for them. Wow, this is unfortunate if you're GKD.
Well, the bubble didn't hit anyone who was taking turret damage, unfortunately.
Yeah, like they've been doing like pretty much everything right. They've just been coming off like one short on this thing. It's so heartbreaking to see because they've been landing good bindings, good CC. 3-man bubbles are freaking hard to hit, but like you said, no turret aggro on them, so they're up in the air, but they're taking no damage, unfortunately. So they're low on HP. Yeah, exactly. There's no follow-up, and that's really what we saw at the very beginning of this game with Kibitz, is he landed the combo. They're doing things right. They're actually hitting their spells. They're landing their combos. The problem is they're not getting, it's like hitting the post, basically. Another 3-man bubble, but they don't train damage on top of it. Like, they're doing everything right. It's an amazing slap shot that just rings off the crossbar. It should be a goal, but it's just not. It's hitting the post every single time. And at the end of the day, it's the old kind of Vin Diesel saying from Fast and Furious. It doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. It doesn't matter how low you get the person on HP. If you don't get a kill, it's not a kill. Captain Vu flashing away, but the ignites on him. He should go down in the back. He'll get the health relic in time. Ooh, he does go down. All about that ace. First kill of the game for his team. Gonna try and pick up some gold. I think he started with an Avarice Blade, or he went back to buy an Avarice Blade, or did he start with that? I think he started with it. Yeah, he started with that. Because he's amassed 60 gold already from that Avarice Blade, so a very investment-based start for all about that ace. Which, I mean, if they can survive, it'll pay off, but if they lose this early game, that's going to be detrimental.
Like, no one can even follow up on those bubbles, though, because if they follow up, they're gonna get CC'd and die.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think everybody on GKD is scared of going in for that follow-up. I mean, rightfully so, to be honest. I'd be scared too. Good binding onto Guardian and Orianna. Morgana's doing a good job of hitting bindings and then landing the pools on top, but the problem is she has no real damage. So I feel like instead of landing bindings and then getting pools on top of them, they need to coordinate with their team, like we said. Land a binding, land a bubble, land an Alistair knock-up, and then put your Tormented Soil on top of that. Like, use your Tormented Soil on the Nami bubbles instead of your bindings, because your bindings will only hit one person, and it's not that long until you upgrade your Q there, until you get it to a higher level, and it increases the actual snare. I'd be relying much more on my Alistair Headbutt Pulverize combos. There's a hook under turret, though. Let's see if they can get Young Swede. No, it is on the clone. Beautiful job by Young Swede, taking advantage of the Wukong clone. And to be honest, Wukong clones are extremely effective on Howling Abyss. I've seen them being used as baits tons of times, where teams will blow everything on that clone. Wukong skates away to safety and then jumps right back into the team fight when everybody's cooldowns are done. And Nami actually doing a fair amount of damage right there. She's building somewhat AP. Let's see how much she has. 48 AP right now for Nami. So she's the carry. So forget what I said about Morgana building AP. Nami's going AP right now. I've never seen a bubble. That bubble did so much damage.
It did a lot of damage.
I think what Nami's almost said is, my team's not following up on these bubbles, so I'll just do the damage with my bubbles instead. I'll do all the work and take care of this. But great binding from General Franco. There's the hook on top. Can they follow up on this? But it's a level 6 Leona, and they just have so much fear of the Wombo Combo team fight now that it's level 6.
They don't even have any of them. Not one of them has level 6 yet, so I mean...
Yeah, this is that small timing window. There, they'll start to hit level 6, but yeah, there's that small timing window. When you are in control of the lane on Aram, you will hit level 6, of course, because they're pushing in the minions further and they've been zoning out their opponents from CS as well as experience and things like that. But they have that small timing window when their team's level 6 and the enemy team is level 5. They didn't take full advantage of it, although the window is still open a crack right now with Alistair at level 5, as well as... Nope, the level 6 was hit there. But I believe it was Nami or somebody else that was not there yet, but we can see the level 7's being hit already. And it looks like they're just freezing the wave right now. This is actually really smart by the side of Omega Squad. They're freezing the wave, so there's more lane control for them to land the Wombo Combo teamfight ultimates. They want to bring out GKD. Normally on ARAM maps, you just see constant pressure, constant lane shoving, but Omega Squad is letting the lane push in, so there's more room for them to land a teamfight ultimate.
Nobody wants to hit any minions on either side.
Yeah, that's the thing, is GKD is super scared of Omega Squad, and Omega Squad is kind of just doing this on purpose, saying, yeah, you can't farm, we'll just freeze the wave right here and just wait until it's opportune for us. And it looks like we'll see if they can land this. I'm kind of waiting for the Leona ultimate, to be honest. That's what I feel like will be the first kind of thing to start this off here, is Leona starting with the ultimate. We'll see if there it is. There we go. On into All About That Ace. They jump forward. There's the flash as well. Dark Shield goes on to Yasuo. Disengage ultimate from Nami. Kibitz in the front line right there. Beautiful Orianna ultimate hitting 5 people. No, that wasn't that was a Yasuo ultimate hitting 5 people. Excuse me. Great job by the side of GKD. They're cleaning up this team fight right now. That was an absolutely beautiful job. Omega Squad tried to get their Wombo Combo teamfight going, but really the Wombo Combo of GKD is just as strong if you're all stacked up. And Omega Squad, when they Leona ulted, everybody from GKD was not stacked up, but when GKD got their ult train off, everybody from Omega Squad was up. I mistook the Orianna, or the Yasuo ultimate for an Orianna ultimate, but they landed both of them. It was a 5-man Yas ultimate off of that. Guardian gonna go down under turret right here. Great job by GKD to pull themselves back into control of this game from Omega Squad winning the early.
That's not how I saw that team fight going, but I could see that they weren't all grouped up nicely enough for the Leona ult. Either side wasn't grouped up enough for the Leona ult. They weren't close.
Yeah, GKD did a great job of... It's exactly what you need to do in team fights like this, is disengage and then re-engage. You need to make sure you stay away. We'll see if they landed the binding in conjunction with that hook onto Captain Vu and trade some damage and then back off. I like that from GKD. I really, really like that. It's just trade some damage and back off. Stay safe. If they had over-pursued that, they could have easily been jumped on and possibly lost a team fight. Maybe lost a couple members right there. But instead, they trade damage on Leona, force her to go back to pick up the health relic, and they're taking that health relic away from somebody else on their team. Even though everyone on their team is full health, full mana, it's still not the best idea. All About That Ace might go down right here. He has no flash from last time. There's the shutdown Asian guy John in the front line right there under the turret. He pops his W to keep himself safe. They're not going to be able to see him right there. And the minion wave will push into this turret. Great job by Omega Squad picking themselves up a kill on that Yasuo. And Yasuo now, he's gone back to base and he's picked up that status. I say gone back to base, I mean he's died, and is now able to buy. But he's picked up the Static Shiv as well as the Merc Treads and a Vamp Scepter on top of that. So it looks like he might be going into the Blade of the Rune King possibly after that Vamp Scepter, or maybe just sitting on it. Hook just barely missing. Actually, if that had landed on Asian guy John, that might have been possibly a good idea to go in, but there are ults still down for the side of GKD, so I'm expecting them to wait for the Thresh ult to come back up so they can have all of their ults available for the fight. But I like the Merc Tread pickup there for Yasuo. It should be able to keep him safe from all of these CC train, or at least help out with the CC train that's really been causing all of his deaths to begin with here. He's the one who gets initiated on to begin with, so having that tenacity in his build, in his kit, in his stats, or whatever you want to call it there, should help a lot. Kibit's doing a great job of hitting those WQ combos so far, except his team hasn't been there to back him up every single time. Good job by Young Swede blocking the hook there on Guardian. That was a really team play by Young Swede right there. A lot of people would have been a selfish jerk and just straight out of instinct just ran out of the way. I don't want to get hooked, and then Guardian would have got hooked and possibly died right there. Instead, Young Swede just walks forward and eats the hook to the face like a man, protecting Guardian right there. So kind of backwards on the names, but hey, gotta protect the Guardians sometime. Keep that Orianna safe right there. So I love the play from Young Swede blocking that hook. I'll keep talking about it because I feel like supports. They don't get enough credit, and that is a support move right there. Exactly, support.
Don't get enough credit.
When it's your job to eat a hook to the face instead of your teammate, that deserves some sort of credit. So good job by Young Swede right there. But jumping back forward, actually General Poneface in the back line. There's the ultimate onto Lone Corp, huge damage in, but this might be the team fight of Omega Squad. Asian guy John underneath the turret. He does go down there to Morgana. Blackpool doing some damage. Young Swede flashes forward, and there is the kill on Morgana as well. They're under the turret on General Poneface. See if they can pick up the kill. There's the exhaust under Guardian, actually. Captain Vu tanking the turret. The clone from Wukong going to get themselves out as well. But that is going to be overall a 3-for-1 trade for the side of Omega Squad.
Oh.
And yeah, Thresh going down there as well from the snipe from Orianna. So, excuse me, 4-for-1 trade for Omega Squad. And we'll see what Kibitz can do right now. He's going a little bit over-aggressive right now. I'd be very scared if I were Kibitz. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's why I'd be scared.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where when your turret is low like that and your team is respawning slowly, like your team is going to be coming back in the next 10-15 seconds, don't die there, don't try and protect your turret, just let it fall, keep yourself alive for when your team comes back. Because if Alistair was there when his team had just come back, like right now, they might have been able to actually get a pick on them, try and get some sort of team fight started, get some sort of kind of payment back for the turret that you lost. But going up there and unfortunately trying to go 1v4, trying to get something happening, trying to save your turret there is not the right option when your turret is going to die regardless, unfortunately. And that is going to be a Bilgewater Cutlass coming out for Yasuo, so he is going to try and go for that Blade of the Rune King, which, to be honest, is not the greatest thing in the world on this map, because normally the Blade of the Rune King really helps with dual scenarios. So like if you're going split push Yasuo, having a Blade of the Rune King is super helpful for that. But to be honest, on this map, it's not as great. I really feel like the Blade of the Rune King is much more of a dueling item, and Yasuo doesn't really have the dueling capability right here. He's much more of a team fighting ult bot kind of at this point, because it's very hard for Yasuo to kind of work his way around these team fights without getting locked down and blown up. So if he just kind of bets everything on his ultimate and waits for that to do the damage, I think that's his best bet here so far. And I don't know if the Bilgewater Cutlass or the Blade of the Rune King is the right item for that, but regardless, still a good item overall. Good job by Young Swede using the clone right there to make sure the hook does not land.
Like Wukong.
Oh, and there is the Leona ultimate, actually. Thresh going in on that Orianna as well. Guardian going to be forced into the back line, so we'll see if they can land a proper Orianna ult. Good snare onto Young Swede right there. He actually kind of negates the Wukong ultimate pretty much, but beautiful Orianna ultimate, and they engage on top of that. Asian guy John will go down there. Really good job keeping themselves alive by GKD. They're kiting back as a team. Beautiful job keeping themselves alive, and I really feel like having that locket was a huge part of that. Thresh, of course, finishing that locket of the Iron Solari when he came back from base right there, and I feel like that was a giant portion of why they won that team fight, because there was huge damage coming out from Omega Squad, but the active, as well as, of course, just the aura of magic resistance on everybody on GKD had a great effect in keeping them alive through that initial wombo combo burst from Omega Squad.
It's a good Orianna.
Yeah, that's the problem is because of the great itemization from GKD, and there's Asian guy John trying to get some resets going, can kill Kibitz and get a reset off of that. No, yes he does. So 2 for 1 right there, but Akali, excuse me, does go down. We'll see if they can make something happen on that Yasuo. He has nowhere to dash to. Actually dashes forward. I say he has nowhere to dash to. He dashes right into the enemy, so that works out as well, I guess.
Why not, right?
he made a fool out of me, I guess, because he did have somewhere to dash to. But they're going to be pushing this in here with a minion wave, and that's the important thing, is if you have the minion wave to try and clear, we'll see if Morgana's Tormented Soil can push back this wave right now. She's trying to make things happen, but she does not have enough AP right now to really clear the wave that fast to save this turret. It might be able to stay alive because Alistair is on the way, so is Yasuo, and the minion wave is gone. Hook's just barely out of range there on Captain Vu, but they wouldn't have wanted to follow up on that anyways.
No, that would have been some bad news.
And Alistair actually has picked up the Aegis of the Legion, which I really like, because to be honest, the only AD damage on the side of Omega Squad is coming out from Wukong. There's the flash hook onto Guardian right there, the General Pwn Face going crazy, right into the Dark Binding. There's the shield on Guardian, but not going to be enough to keep him alive. Asian guy John getting exhausted. He does take down Yasuo. Actually, Leona takes down Yasuo. Captain Vu right up into the mix. Kibitz tanking for people with his ultimate in the front right there, trying to kite back our Nami as well as Morgana, but a good job by the side of Omega Squad. They trade 2 for 2, but Omega Squad looks to be more in control now.
I just don't have a lot of things to say for some reason in this game.
I think you got double bubble over the turret actually right there. The turret will go down. They're going ham on this turret. Wukong looking pretty big right there. Did he buy like an elixir of iron or something? Why is he so big? He did. He bought did he? Yeah, he bought an elixir of iron. I'm like, why the heck is Wukong so big? Is there a Lulu in the game or something? But Captain Vu is going to go down here on purpose to go back and buy. But as I was mentioning before, they're just gonna die and buy here. As I was mentioning before, the fact that they've picked up the Aegis of the Legion on Alistair, so they're going to have 2 lockets here, is really effective, because as long as you keep Wukong from landing a good ultimate on your team, there's no AD damage coming out that's actually really effective. So you itemize against that AP, you itemize for the magic resistance, 2 lockets, which normally is a little bit overkill, but in this situation is exactly what you want, because the lockets will stack on the 2 members that have the locket. Everybody else that doesn't have a locket, there's the ultimate from Yasuo, though, set up by himself actually. Even though the team has a bunch of ways to set it up for himself, or to set it up for Yasuo, he does it himself there with the 3rd Q strike right there. But the way the lockets work is if you have a locket and somebody else has a locket, you will get both the benefits of the aura. But if you don't have a locket and say 2 of your teammates have lockets, then only one of those auras will benefit you. So Thresh as well as Alistair will have the benefits of 2 lockets, where Yasuo, Morgana, and Nami will only have 1 locket, but really, it's still beneficial when all of the damage is AP coming from Omega Squad.
Leona hasn't been getting too lucky with these ults lately.
And the thing is, it's really GKD doing a great job of not stacking up on top of each other. Anytime Leona tries to land an ult to get a good engage off for her team and start this kind of, like we keep mentioning, the wombo combo team fight that they have, everybody's so split up that she can only slow a couple people. She can only possibly stun one person maybe, and then even on top of that, they have such good disengage for their team with the 4 support setup. They've got great peel, so as long as they keep their team alive through that initial burst, that initial wombo, then they're pretty much golden in these team fights. But it really is quite an even game right now. 18-18, slight gold lead here for GKD, but they have the open inhibitors on either side, 2 turrets down for both teams, and there's the snare on a Captain Vu. We'll see if they decide to engage on this. This is actually GKD engaging, so this might actually be bad if you're the side of GKD. Omega Squad, no, but there's the beautiful Yasuo ult on top of that. Great job by GKD. They're landing these ultimates perfectly. We keep talking about the wombo combo of Omega Squad, but the wombo combo of GKD is pretty much just as strong if they initiate it properly, and GKD is getting things off a lot better than the side of Omega Squad right now. Beautiful Ori ultimate, though. Knocks down, or kills Morgana, shuts her down, excuse me. General Ponebase barely staying alive in the back line. Young Swede, oh my goodness, they actually pick up the kill. Guardian picks up the kill. Great team fight by Omega Squad. What a phenomenal job of kiting back and finishing things off with those counter engages. Young Swede doing some great bush control right there. Captain Vu and Guardian kiting for their lives. Excellent play from Omega Squad, turning around a team fight that got turned around on them.
Yeah, they lost an inhibitor for that fight. Ooh, good jobs.
And Young Swede actually going back in on All About That Ace. We'll be able to pick up that kill before he dies, but the nice thing though is they wanted to die anyways, and in the process they've chunked All About That Ace. Now All About That Ace, of course, will have the lifesteal as well as the health relics to try and keep himself back to healthiness, but having a Yasuo at half HP is way more beneficial than the actual kills that they picked up there, because they wanted to die anyways to go back and spend their gold. So really the next time Omega Squad comes out, they'll have a decent little advantage over the fact that All About That Ace does not have full HP, but he's trying to get it back, like I said, with the lifesteal from that Blade of the Rune King.
Kali hasn't finished her Zanya's yet.
Yeah, that will really help her once she finishes that, because she's been going down pretty quickly in these team fights. As you can see, 5, 6, 10, not what you want to see for an Akali. Not to say it's a bad score at all, but usually your Akali, you want to be a little bit more heavy in the kill department and less in the assist department, and it's because Akali's been getting blown up and exhaust trained on every time she comes into these fights, which is the right idea by GKD. But if Akali, if Asian Guy John there gets his Zonias finished, then he'll be able to keep himself alive in that stasis for 2.5 seconds, which to be honest, is probably enough time to have somebody die for GKD or have Omega Squad save him somehow, have cooldowns come back up. The 2.5 seconds, even though it seems like it's not that long, it really can save your life depending on what kind of opens up in that time. Defensive headbutt from Alistair though. Captain Vu trading some good damage on Kibitz. Kibitz might be forced to pop his ultimate here, and he does. In the front line, Leona missing everybody actually with that ultimate. There's the Yasuo, but everybody's stacked on top of each other. Wukong doing a fair amount of damage with his ult as well. But it's just a massacre. I didn't even see what's going on. Everyone's just standing on top of each other, blowing each other up. All About That Ace flashing away, but Captain Vu chases after him, and that's a solo kill for Captain Vu in the back line right there. General Ponebase doing a bunch of damage, but we'll see if Captain Vu can come back in time to kite for this. It's Cassiopeia, Leona, and Wukong against Thresh right now. Alistair goes down. Thresh's buddy was the last friend he had in the world, but now General Ponebase all alone, and all he has is the summoner spell Clarity, which he does not need. That's so unfortunate. What an absolute great game here for Omega Squad, pulling themselves back in this, because GKD was playing so phenomenally, and they still are. This game has been great back and forth, like we said. Young Swede should die here from this Nami. One more. There you go. And Nami actually, it looks like she kind of switched up her role there. I mentioned before earlier in the game how she was building for a little bit more damage, but it looks like she's gone back to more of a supporty role. She did finish off her Zonias, but going for the Mikhails as well as the Merc Treads. I really figured that if she was building damage, there'd be more damage than that, and that's why I checked out her items after that whole Wukong auto attack debacle we just witnessed. She was not doing that much damage, unfortunately, but hey, picks up the kill anyways, and that's what you want to see. But great game so far. GKD's been playing awesome, and so has Omega Squad. That last team fight, though, was just absolute chaos.
They're just see a single thing in that team fight.
Yeah, I didn't really even know what to say right there. It was just 5 people all on top of each other, just hitting the keyboards. There's the flash from Kibitz, actually, but does not get the pulverize. Guardian just kind of walking away from that one, actually. I don't know, there's the ultimate actually, they engaged with the Orion. Oh, there's the Leona ultimate on top of that. But actually going to do this in reverse. This might be a great team fight for Omega Squad. They do pick up the kill onto Yasuo, who's the main damage. Now it's just about taking down these super tanky members in Alistair, Thresh, as well as Morgana. If they can kill Morgana, she's really the main damage source. They're running after her as fast as possible. General Franco will go down, and this might be the game here for Omega Squad. They take down Kibitz as well. And it all started with Oriana using her ultimate, which is the exact opposite of what you normally usually see Leona using her ultimate, then Zenith blading in with the ball on top of her, Ori ults on top of that. Instead, Oriana said, screw this, with everybody else trying to set up my ultimates. She sets up the ultimate, and then Leona ults on top of her. They do it in reverse order, and it works out for them, so hey, they figured it out in the last team fight of the game. They figured out, let's just do things backwards, and that's the better way for us. And they pull out the win there, Omega Squad, taking that last team fight very convincingly.
GG.
That was a great game, entirely back and forth. And like we said, it was really GKD doing a great job, and then Omega Squad kind of countering their counters and back and forth. Like the ebb and flow of that game, no pun intended, with the Nami, was absolutely incredible. It was entirely back and forth, and then by the end of the game, Omega Squad kind of cracked the code. They figured things out, and as we saw right there, beautiful ultimate by Guardian to start things off. Leona trains her ultimate on top of that. Everybody piles damage, and their ultimates on top of that, and they really closed out the last team fight very convincingly, showing that they did deserve to win that game. It wasn't just luck. They figured things out there at the end. Great job from both teams. GKD will be moving into our third place game there to face Kappa Masters for the third place prize, and then Omega Squad will be moving on into our grand finals against all mid, all modes for our grand prize of 3,200 RP per player plus Triumphant Rise skins for the entire team. So very excited about that grand final match. Should be a great game. We'll be moving on to that lobby very shortly. My name is Streetball, casting alongside Slightly. We'll be right back into our next lobby. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Random Championship Series Open Division Aram Tournament for today, Friday, April the 17th. My name is Streetball, casting alongside Slightly, and we are in our grand final match right now between the two sides, the blue team, all mid, all modes, and the purple side, the Omega Squad. We just saw in our very back and forth other semifinal bracket game on the bottom side of the brackets there. It was GKD losing to Omega Squad there. They'll be facing KMG versus GKD in the third place match, but in the grand finals match we're watching right now, it is going to be all mid, all modes versus the Omega Squad. So anything that jumps off the page here for you Slightly as far as champ select so far?
Bard.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited to see some Bard. That would have been the best thing in that triple hook game is if we had 3 hooks and a Bard. That sounds like, I don't even, like, what
3 hooks and a Bard.
Like a band or something like that, or a show, like, I don't know, you know,
I'd
some
see
sitcom.
that. I would watch that.
Hooks and a Bard. That's, I
Just
don't know,
once.
yeah, just once, of course, canceled. for being the worst show idea of all time. So jumping into this match, like you said, we've got the Bard there as well as the Sona, so a ton of heals coming out for the side of all mid, all modes. They'll have the, what the heck is the Bard W called? Something shrine. It's like the magical shrine, the Happy Time shrine. We'll find out in game to make sure.
Yeah.
We'll mouse over it. That's the beauty of being spectators and casting, is we get to actually mouse around and check out things and go, what the heck is that?
Caretaker Shrine.
There you go. That's exactly what it's called. So those caretaker shrines, popping those out in the back there, which is what you want to do with those caretaker shrines, is throw them in the back there, because once they you'll see like 3 little kind of diamonds or circles or whatever. Once those 3 circles fill up there, it takes about 5 seconds or so. I don't know what the timing is. But once those fill up, those caretaker shrines will heal you for immensely more. So the way you want to use those, usually if you're playing them safely in lane, is throw them in the back, and then when somebody needs